35% of it comes from students and staff. Back and forth with universities. So certainly don't have the impression for 1 minute there isn't something that you can do. If you have a chance to ride your bike or take the bus or whatever you can do, you'll have probably a larger impact on almost anything else if you and everyone else collectively does that, because commuting is by far the largest impact on the environment we have. Okay, but we're not here today to talk about everything in the world. We're going to try to focus our efforts mostly on the university's recycling program. So as you can tell with my gray hair, what's left of it, that I've been around for a while. I actually had the opportunity to be here when the program started back in 1990. And I might just mention it was started not by the university, but by a group of students who were concerned about the environment. And they formed a little club, and they went to university administration at the time. And gee, were you guys even born in 1990? Oh yeah, you were. I was. How about you? Nope, not
I'm old. I'm older than dirt.
So anyway, they went to the university president and they said, you know, we've been noticing sure a lot of paper in the garbage that goes out every day, and would it be all right if we volunteered our services to try to start a little recycling program? And so they did that, and it worked okay for about 6 months, and then it kind of started to wear thin, you know, volunteers, you know, and busy schedules and stuff. And so they found a person and actually she lived in Tremont, and could come in and do it, and then she would keep the money from the paper she collected. And so that went on for about another 6 months, and one day she called up and says, my truck broke down, I can't afford to fix it, I can't come get your paper anymore. And so the university had a decision to make at that point. The vice president over the business called my boss and says, can you guys, I managed the central receiving the warehouse at the time, and since we were always around on campus picking up, delivering things, they said, would you guys just maybe have you guys pick up the paper and put it in place, and we think, you know, wow, this will die off and it'll go away and they'll forget about it. So we started the recycling efforts in 1991. We did, the university did. It had been going for about a year before that. Officially, we took over in 1991. 1 pickup and 1 part-time students. Within 5 years, we had 3 full-time people, 10 students, and had built this building. And so our timing was just incredible, because just in the early 80s or 90s, when they thought it would go away, was just the real start of the current environmental awareness that is still going on today. When we started, we were the only ones in the valley doing it. The city wasn't doing it. Now, if any of you are from Cache Valley, pretty much they have curbside recycling throughout the whole city. And most municipalities do, particularly if you get in, you know, the metropolitan areas. If you're from California, Oregon, or Washington, you've been doing it since before you were born. We're a little slow here in Utah.
It was weird what a political controversy it was when it was started.
Because there's a lot of, you know, in this Western mentality we have in the Western states, you know, nobody likes to have anybody tell them what to do. And if they want to throw their paper in the garbage, they don't want anybody to tell them they can't. And so it's just kind of independent stuff. Now again, in California and Oregon and Washington and New Jersey and places around, it's very much not that way. Most of the recycling programs are mandated. Well, they didn't necessarily mandate recycling, but they said they would go to the universities and say, you will have to reduce your total waste output by 50% in 10 years. And so, what do? You start a real active recycling program. And so that's what's driven most of them. But here in Utah, there is no mandates. There's nothing that says you have to. For the university, there was several reasons why we started the program. One was, of course, our image of our students. We're saying, how come we're a land-grant university with a huge natural resources emphasis, and we're throwing all our paper in the garbage? So I can't underestimate what I want you to, as you walk away from this little tour today, and as you're in Chris's class, I can't underestimate enough how important your input as students. And if Chris or I bring up the issue, we're paid to shut up and do our stuff. You're the customers here, and so it's only from the pressure that comes from you guys and mentioning it to your departments or your professors or wherever you go that raises this whole consciousness. It's been that way right from the beginning. Now, fortunately, the university has started a sustainability effort, and they have a council, and so they're looking at a lot of different things and trying hard to improve wherever we can. But it started, it stays, and it will continue only based on the pressure put on by you as students who are our customers.
Yeah. And
This is going to come from the state legislature. This is
Right.
going to come from your parents. It's going to come from you guys.
the College of Natural Resources Student Council is one of the really active groups that makes sure that things get passed along to the department heads and dean and that sort of thing. So getting to know those folks, they're scattered out in all the departments and they're students, but they're the sort of student leaders that are in charge of that kind of stuff. So.
It's right. It's been a good, motivated thing right from the very beginning. So that's how our program started. We started that way, and so that was the kind of the political background. The real practical sense of what's kept it going is that it's a financial issue as well, because throwing things away is no longer an inexpensive proposition. Normally, the university hauls about 2,500 tons of waste down to the local landfill. When I started this program in 1990, that was before the landfill had its scales, or the whole area of waste management was kind of loosey goosey. We paid, I think we paid $2,500 a year, so it averaged up to be $1 a ton for all the garbage we wanted to haul. We just paid them one flat rate. Nobody cared. Just take it down and dump it and drop it off. Well, the EPA got involved in the landfill business and wastewater and everything along in the 90s, and they said, wait a minute, this can't be. You need to start monitoring what goes into the landfill. You need to start limiting the quantity and putting in some incentives. So along about that time, they put scales in and started charging us by the ton. Since they've done that, their prices have tripled. Okay? So when we started out from $2,500 a ton, now our cost, I think the tipping rates down there are like $30 a ton, 27.50, 28, something like that. But our landfill is only going to last a few more years. And when it runs out, we expect the price to triple again. Because instead of just taking it down, us dumping it, we'll just take it down to a transfer station where we'll be taking off our big garbage truck, dumped on a cement floor, same with you guys. If you haul something to the landfill, will be pushed into a big thing, baled, or reloaded on a big semi-truck and hauled to the West Desert or wherever it is they end up doing it. So we expect it in 10 years. What we're paying for $30 a ton will probably be $60, $80, or $100. That's more typical of what most garbage rates are. Now that doesn't include the price of the garbage truck and the full-time driver and his benefits. Any idea, have you ever seen a big garbage truck? You have to be here pretty in the morning. You seen it driving around? Any idea what that guy costs?
35 cents a mile.
Well, it's $200,000 every time we replace that truck every 5 years. And of course, then it's a nightmare to maintain it too, because of all the rams and hydraulic things that are going on with it, and it's pushing things. And if somebody throws something in the trash can they shouldn't, it's a big job. And so the $30 a ton is only about half the cost. So it costs us about $60 a ton. We'll do the math. 60 times 2,500 tons. What does that turn out to be? Somebody get your calculator.
99 million?
150,000, yeah. So what used to cost us 2,500 is now up to 150,000, and going up. So there's some real financial incentive too to reduce the amount of waste, particularly as we're faced with this landfill down here that's dwindling away by the day. And we expect it'll be less than it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and I know they're trying to do some things to extend it down there, but we expect 5, 6, 7 years, maybe at the most.
When a landfill gets full,
Uh-huh.
it just sits there.
Yeah.